again. Recently, my girlfriend and I started watching Death Note, and I'm obsessed. If you haven't seen the anime, and you should, it's about a guy named Light Yagami. He's a college kid with a god complex. One day he finds the Death Note. It's a Shinigami's notebook that will kill anyone whose name is written on the pages of the Death Note. It's revealed in the anime that Shinigami are able to know people's names because they can see it above their head along with their lifespan, like a little text overlay. It's also revealed that humans can get these same Shinigami eye powers for the low cost of half their lifespan. I don't want to do that. So instead, I'm going to show you how you can get Shinigami eyes for free using DaVinci Resolve. Of course, you'll need footage of you or an actor doing the movement that you want to edit. If you have any big movements or moving really fast, I recommend filming at a high shutter speed. This will eliminate motion blur, which just makes it easier for you when you're rotoscoping and motion tracking. You can always add motion blur back in later, so it's fine. For my shot, I added a red practical light just to kind of spice it up. It didn't really show through on the video, so, take that for what you will. And before you say anything, yes, I know canonically you can't use Shinigami eyes to see your own lifespan. I'm the only actor and I wanted to do both effects, okay? Okay, and with all of that out of the way, let's get into the effect.
For today's effect, these are the two clips we'll be editing. We'll start with this clip, so I'll turn it into a fusion clip and rename it to Eyes. In the Fusion tab, we'll start by tracking my left eye, so I'll add a tracker node and drag the tracking box over my left pupil. The inner box will frame my left pupil and the outer box will tell the computer how far to search. Then I start the track. Scrubbing through the timeline, we can see that the track did a pretty good job up until the eyes close. We can fix this part later. The next step is to color the eyes, so I'll add a color correction node and tint the footage red. Using a quick mask as a reference, I'll open up the keyframe window and drag the beginning of the color correction node to be right when my eyes open. I can also tweak the color correction, increasing the contrast to make the pupil pop a little bit more. I'll replace the rough mask with a more refined polygon mask, tracing around the pupil. I'll increase the soft edge and border width to blend it with the pupil. To parent this mask to the track we created, right-click on the center, connect to, Tracker 1 Tracker Path, Position. In the Modifiers tab, we can realign the mask with the pupil. Scrubbing through the timeline, we can see that the mask does a pretty good job of sticking with the pupil, but the red is still visible as my eyes are closed. To fix this, we'll enable shape animation in the mask, and go frame by frame as my eye opens, altering the mask. Once we're happy with the animation, we can copy this process to the other eye. Back in the timeline window, I'll create a fusion composition for the other clip and name this one Lifespan. Back in the Fusion workspace, we'll start by tracking our actor's face using a planar tracker node. I draw a mask around the parts of my actor's face that stay relatively still throughout the entire recording. Then I change the motion type to translation and rotation. I set the reference time and I begin the track. Once I'm happy with the track, I'll hit Create Planar Transform, which will give us a new node to use later. Now we can delete the planar tracker node. Next, add a text node and merge it over our footage. For my effect, I'm just writing my name and a random series of numbers to be my lifespan. I'll link the font I used down in the description. In the Layout tab, I can align the text with my head in 3D space. While holding down the Shift key, I can drag the Planar Transform node into the text node. Now the text follows the motion of my head. To give the text motion, I'll run a fast noise node through a displacement node. I adjust the detail, contrast, and brightness of the noise texture until I'm happy with the distortion. To animate the noise, I'll add keyframes for the seed value at the beginning and end of the clip. This will give our text some fluid, wavy motion. Next, I'll add a soft glow node with a low gain and glow size value to give it a subtle effect. In the color scale, I'll give the glow a red hue. In the merge node, I change the apply mode to screen. After the planar transform node, I merge the effect over the footage a second time and give the underlying layer a motion trail node. I change the second merge node to screen as well. In the motion trail node, I adjust the zoom to be slightly smaller than the original text and change the trail length to 1. I then add a directional blur node, change the type to radial, and change the center of the blur to point towards my head. At this point, this is pretty much the effect you see in the show, but since this is real life and not a cartoon, I want to add a few extra details. First, I'll add a second set of displacement and noise nodes, this time increasing the detail and scale of the noise. Next, I'll add another soft glow, this time increasing the glow size. I'll add a color correction node to the footage and tint the shadows red. I'll also increase the contrast to the footage. In the color workspace, I'll hit Alt-S to create a new node. I'll add a power window to frame my face and text. I'll increase the softness of the window, invert it, and then use the Curves tab to bring down the value of the footage. We have now created a vignette for our shot. Back in the Fusion tab, I'll use the same techniques as before to change the color of my eyes.
And if you did everything right, your shot should look something like this. Bye.